Okay, so today I'm going to talk about mobile solutions from the perspective of the museum staff and not and indirectly from the perspective of the visitor. I have to be behind here, right? Okay. Okay. So at the highest level, what were our business drivers? So in terms of mobile solutions for the museum staff, we were looking at ticketing, membership, and retail, all things that happen within the museum lobby. So our key business drivers is a soon-to-be unsupported membership system, a soon-to-be unsupported ticketing system, and the same story with retail. Yeah. So those were the main high-level goals. And this is kind of what it looked like in our lobby. So some big scary-looking devices, printers, all kinds of wires. People had to sit there. And we had this sort of circa 1990s user interface. And our membership system had been about 30 years, but when we approached this project, really, we had just put in Salesforce, and we wanted to leverage the data that was behind there. So just to give you a little bit more of a visual, this is our lobby. At the top is 54th Street, at the bottom is 53rd Street. So this area is where our visitors generally spend their time in the lobby before going up to the museum. They can come in from both sides, 53rd and 54th, and then they disperse into the galleries through there. And then that's the retail store, one of the three retail stores in New York. And then that's the coat check. So lots and lots of things happening in a very, very large lobby. So in terms of where we sell outside of the retail area, ooh, what's that?
Just cancel it.
Okay.
Charge an iPhone on the same.
Okay, I have no keyboard.
There should be a mouse right here. Sorry.
Mouse should be right there.
Mouse is gone.
In the drawer. Open the drawer. The top.
Oh, here it is. Got it.
Okay.
I don't know what I did. Somebody else did it, but thank you.
The finance guy fixed it.
We'll edit that.
Okay, so
We'll fix that in post.
that's the main ticketing desk, so people coming in will see that desk. But then they also see this other desk, the membership desk. And then they see this third desk that is some other ticketing desk. So somewhat of a potentially confusing experience for our visitor. So as we approached designing membership, thinking about membership, retail, and also ticketing, this was our goal, our dream, the Apple Store interface with people wandering around with their mobile devices. But the reality that we were contending with was this, which is quite scary. This is typically what our lobby looks like. So the solution, as we were looking at what to do, we put a set of requirements together. And from a business perspective, at the highest level, we wanted to provide better customer service so we can manage those crazy crowds. We wanted to shorten the lines, and we wanted to enable mobility, which would give the staff flexibility to work with visitors as they come into the museum lobby. We were also concerned about, cybersecurity and PCI compliance is always a concern. So as we look at new technology, things have really improved since 10 or 12 years ago when we first implemented this. So chip and pin EMV and also credit card tokenization is very important. And then the other aspect was that any staff should be able to help any visitor, and you should never have to bounce around the 3 different desks for a different type of service. And from a, yes?
Any staff should be able to help any visitor and actually complete the transaction?
Yes.
Right.
So if you wanted to buy a membership, in addition to a retail item, you should see one person and get all of that done, and you should be able to leave if you have if you want to buy any combination of those things. From a technical perspective, what we cared about was faster transaction times and a cloud-based solution because we didn't want to maintain any more servers in our data center, and we believe that this solution can be better handled by companies that are more equipped to handle it. and then also a mobile-first philosophy. We wanted to get rid of some of that hardware and make it just cleaner at the desk, and thereby also allowing us to be more easily mobile. And we wanted a very powerful integration layer, not very similar to what Leo had built, but with Testatura, more things came out of the box with Salesforce that we were able to utilize. So those were what we were going into. So there's the story, do we buy or do we build? And as we approach membership, we really looked at what was out there, and really with every single one of them, with membership, with retail, and also with ticketing, we looked at what was out available in industry. We looked at what other museums were using, but more than that, we looked at what other for-profit businesses were using, because they tend to be to have implemented more recent technologies that we might be interested in. So really, when we looked at membership, we ended up building. And the reason was because although we had this very powerful back-end CRM system that had all of our member information and donors and history, there really was not a good mobile solution. It was very important that this was an iOS-based mobile solution. And there really wasn't. This was before even Salesforce offered one. So we built one, and then we built an integration to Salesforce and to many of our other systems. We used maybe a couple of in-house technical staff, but most of it we outsourced. It was a very, very large capital project, so it was outsourced to consulting groups suggested by Salesforce, and then ultimately we have an offshore team that we still work with who continue to maintain it. I wouldn't necessarily say I recommend that to everyone. Offshore is very time-consuming and difficult. So you have to work hard to make that relationship work. From the time that the idea popped into our brain to the day that we first launched it, it took 10 months. And iOS launched October 2014 in time for the Matisse Cutout show, which was a huge, huge show for us. So this is just a quick screenshot of the first screen. So we try to think of the aesthetic that we like, which is as simple as possible. So we kind of copied the Google search, and it's a, believe it or not, even searching was difficult in our old system, but here it's full text searching across multiple fields, which allowed a tremendous amount of flexibility. This is the type of information that could come back for your primary, secondary membership members that are on this account, whether they're a trustee or committee member. So these are all important things that the person at the desk should know about the member when the member approaches to renew their membership. Okay, so that's like two out of, I don't know, 50 different possible screenshots. Okay, this is just a quick under the cover high-level architecture picture of what we had to connect to. So even a really simple and clean mobile solution looks simple, just an iPad, but actually it's not, because you have to make the card print, you have to make the credit card scanner work. You have to have a little Bluetooth printer to print the receipt out, because people might want a physical receipt rather than an electronic receipt. And then you have to print the nice membership card out, so you have this great big printer, which actually has to be connected to the network. And then there's this integration layer for web service layer back to Salesforce, and other types of third-party tools, integration back to our ticketing system, so that by the time the person buys their membership, shows up at the entrance of the museum, which is about 10 feet apart, that their membership would scan with no issues. So because we do track each visitation by members. So I didn't show this type of picture for all the other mobile solutions, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's underneath. From a ticketing perspective, we chose to buy a solution with this company called Acme. They are a very young company based in San Francisco, and we looked at everything. We looked at big and small. We got to know a lot of ticketing systems, but really there was nothing out there that supported iOS-based solutions with a JSON REST-based API layer that was cloud-based. I mean, these are simple technical requirements, and they reflect what is modern technology. And we talked to places like Tessitura, and they had a SOAP-based interface, and they were working on their JSON one, which is why Leo had to build his wrapper. And they were not iOS-based or mobile-first, so it was an old solution force-fitted into some kind of mobile solution that had pared-down functionality. So that is not what we wanted. We didn't want to compromise on the ability to provide the best possible service. So with ticketing, you know, there was only this one company that actually had all of those requirements, but they were very, very young and huge high risk. So it posed all kinds of other contractual and legal challenges. Okay. So anyway, 8 months, and we worked one of the other things is we liked working with them because they worked very closely with us. So they took our requirements, built a lot of custom features, and we essentially helped shape the product. Not necessarily how we want to work all the time, but in this case, it was the only possible solution that met all of our requirements, especially for the future. Launched August 2015. We've been on it for a year, and we're pretty happy with it. Okay, so this is the first page of the interface. So retail. Okay, so we also, in this case, chose to buy. We are going with a company called Teamwork Retail. Again, all the basic requirements of cloud-based, mobile-first, iOS support devices. And it took about 7 months to implement. We did a methodical review like every other solution. And we work with Teamwork to create, to do the integrations, not so much customizations to their product, but mostly to integrate back to something like Salesforce. And they were very open to that. This launched 5 days ago. This is a picture of the design store that opened 5 days ago or 6 days ago. We had closed it for about 3 months, and during that time, upgraded lots of stuff and put in the new POS system. This is really unimpressive, but it's a retail POS system. That's what it looks like. But I wanted to show this one because one of the things we couldn't easily do at the register was simply see what other stores had inventory of an item very easily, that the sales staff could just click a button and see that this item is available in all these other places with this amount of inventory. Okay, so quick couple of notes on how we rolled it out. We're big believers in testing, so we always do prototypes at the very, very beginning, at the conception time. And then at the time of launch, we always do betas. We never swap everything out. In fact, the retail POS, I think, is about 80% swapped out. We still have 20% of the old system. It'll be done by probably the end of this week or next week. And that's really, really important. And then the other aspect that will help with adoption is involving your team as early as possible, and then during the rollout period to have staff there to just simply assist, just almost overstaff it. Having senior managers and IT staff actually go in and sell things and show, being really hands-on is very important. Okay, so successes. This is just a slide on we always do old versus new, so we leave them both up and running, and we see which one does fastest, which one does better. So in this case, this was right at the Matisse Cutout show the first week, and you could see the blue one just handled the peaks much better. So when it was super, super busy, we just took out more of these iPads. We were able to have a pop-up store at the Art Basel show in South Beach this past holiday season. There's Alex with one of our iPads selling. We weren't able to do things like this before. This is at a membership opening. We were able to convert people to members. We weren't able to do things before because they would have to go all the way back down to the lobby, but this is in the galleries. This is the one that opened 5 days ago. So you can see we have both a shopper view, which is that little thingy, and then the staff view. These are also things we weren't able to see before, all of the individual places where we sell and how they're doing at any given point. So this is visibility that the store managers and the store staff has now on a dashboard that they could just quickly see how it's doing. In addition, we reduced our systems that are in scope for PCI. So we have steadily worked on this. It is my goal to have no credit card data in any of our systems, and we're almost there, at which point none of our systems will be in scope for PCI worries. Okay, we're really down to just e-commerce. We're working on an e-commerce redesign right now. We're switching from IBM WebSphere Commerce to Demandware, a Demandware platform, which will also integrate with Teamwork for the omni-channel experience. Okay, challenges. Okay, this is mainly user adoption, so I'm not going to go through this in great detail, but while we have enabled, the title of this presentation is Enabling the Staff, but it's not actually about being mobile, it's enabling mobile. So there are challenges to actually being mobile. Cache is a problem. Cache is a big problem. The other thing is people feel with a crowd like what you saw, it's nice to have a barrier. So people actually like that. There are many challenges actually to being mobile. So you have to think that through. Okay, so again, the dream, the reality, you don't want that crowd right up against you. So what we've done actually when we have crowds like that, we're not exactly mobile, but we do try to set up additional tables with each of the mobile stations. Another thing that we've learned through a lot of experimentation is that while we give out the tickets from the little Bluetooth printer that's mobile, our visitors hate that. They don't want that. They want really nice quality stock paper tickets. So it's a real problem because it affects both online conversion. People aren't going to purchase online because if they come here and they realize they can get one of these limited edition, really nice stock tickets that they'll save as a souvenir, then they're going to want to come. They'll want to wait online. You know, we give them such a nice experience online. So we're actually reverting from the cheap receipt paper ticket to really nice quality stock with 8 different, they're like collectibles. You can get all 8 of them. So, you know, the lobby is kind of like a lab. We keep experimenting with ideas like this. So this you can read later. Quick takeaways. It's easy to add these iPads when we need it. Mobile isn't necessarily about someone walking around. It gives us flexibility on the multiple entry points and other new business opportunities. But again, long lines and crowd control is hard to manage. You don't want that crowd right up against you. And then the other thing is that the technology really hasn't caught up with everything that we want to do. So when you do go mobile, chip and pin, there aren't any vendors, I think, that will have well, there might be one that you could wear. That's like a chip. The beauty of chip and pin is that the sales staff never has to touch the credit card. So it decreases the liability for the company. But if you're actually mobile, you can't do chip and pin. So anyway, but that will evolve probably over the next month or so. Okay, that's it.